I know you can see it, but I'm not going to tell you when I hit record.
You don't have to.
Because I want our conversation to flow.
Do you think
the
it's herky jerky
flow.
after you hit record?
The Roanoke flow.
You think I go all herky jerky after you hit record?
You do go herky jerky.
Right. I'm very nervous now.
No. We've talked about this before. We've had this phenomenal conversation before I hit record, and with this minute I hit record, we start losing it. We talked about that. We've probably talked about that in the last 3 episodes, except for the last episode because that was a repeat of our Java episode, which we probably talked about it there too. I don't know.
Probably did. That's how we roll.
Yeah, we do. We roll. And part of people probably wonder. I doubt it, but I like to think that people probably wonder why I don't hit record right away when we start talking. And it's usually because we talk about our day job before we actually hit record.
Or
because
naughty
John
things,
and I work together.
Or just naughty things.
Well, no, I mean, this is the PoddiMouths podcast. We can talk about naughty things. So it's really just about work. But we've said this before. John and I work together. We work for the same company, and we work on several projects together for work. So we usually catch up on the phone just before we start the podcast. And that's kind of what we were doing today.
We were.
Yeah. And then John has answers like, we were.
Because I'm getting all herky jerky now because I know you hit record.
Well, I think it's because you finally came back to work, and your boss, who is my former boss, your boss has this knack about answering every single question in a conversation with one word.
Yes, he does.
Have you ever challenged him to that?
Yes, he does. So he was, and you'll appreciate this, and anybody who's been on a conference call before, which is a lot of people these days, it seems like, I was on a call with him earlier today, and he introduced himself. And I wanted to say, seriously, you think people don't know who you are when you start talking? Because he is, and it's Dennis, and he's a friend of mine and offline and at work as well. But he's sharp, and he's the perfect boss for me because I need somebody who's a little lower key, a little calmer, and that's also why he's, generally speaking, great with OEMs as well. So right. I really enjoy him. And so he says, this is Dennis. And everybody goes, we know. You don't have to tell us.
Yeah. Oh, I love it too. And sometimes he puts a little inflection in there. This is Dennis. He goes up a little bit. You can always tell when he's coming back from the West Coast because he does that. But
that's a West Coast flip in his voice.
But we've been on conference calls where he literally has just said one word. Someone will ask him this long-winded question. They'll go on and on and on. And then he'll just say something like,
yes.
Yes.
Yes. I enjoyed it.
I love it. I love it. And of course, everyone dies laughing.
He's yes, he is.
He's a hoot.
He's a good dude. I like him. It's interesting. And I'm happy to be able to say that because we've all worked for bosses that we would rather not have worked for. I'm not sure that's the best way to say it, but I think you know what I'm getting at. There are those that are just either just dicks in general, or they're just difficult, or micromanagers. That's another thing that just drives me crazy.
Oh, I can't stand micromanagers.
And that's where Dennis is at the top of his game.
He's the complete opposite
of that. So I am quite fortunate to have him as a boss.
You are quite fortunate. And I think this is a perfect opportunity to point out is he is no longer my boss. So I'm not sucking up to him when I'm saying all of these good things, but we could technically think you are.
I might be.
And you might be. And he does listen.
I'm just wondering if there's some sort of a raise in my future.
I was going to say, I think there's a raise in your future.
Yeah. Then we should talk more about Dennis. Let's call this the Dennis Show.
The Dennis Show. No longer called PoddiMouths. Speaking of PoddiMouths, though, I am very close to, and this is something we didn't talk about before the show went live, so we're going to have to talk about right now. I'm very close to launching our new website. I have just a few more little things that I need to add, but we will have a full-fledged fully functional website where people can actually subscribe to our mailing lists. When we get merch up there, you can buy merch. You can find us on all of our podcast networks. You can visit all of our social networks. You can comment. You can leave us messages and all that good. And you can see our beautiful shining heads and bald faces and all that good stuff. I'm pretty excited about it. It's one of those things. Most of the stuff we do in the middle of the night when we're not actually doing our day job, and I've been working really hard trying to get this website up and running. And part of that too is having everyone decide on our logo, which I will be closing that survey here pretty soon. So if you haven't given us your feedback, please jump online, find it on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and vote and let us know which logo we can actually
We've
start
had some
using
action on that, haven't we?
us.
Yeah.
We have. And it surprises me that the one I think the one that you and I liked the least is actually the one that most people are choosing.
Why?
Because we liked it the most or the least. We are. That is very true. I can't even argue that. I can't even make fun of that.
I am highly excited about the new website. And by the way, PoddiMouths.com, in case you were wondering, PoddiMouths.com. Tell your friends, because it really is going to be awesome with all that availability of contact information and newsletter and the merch. I'm psyched about the merch because I plan to wear it all the time.
I know you do. Me too. I wish we were allowed to wear, that sort of thing at work, but I think they frown upon that.
Well, they don't know we're wearing it sometimes if you wear it underneath.
True.
Things.
Very true. Yeah. You make an excellent point. And along
PoddiMouths tighty whities. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, funny you should say that. And eventually we'll get on topic. I'm sorry, but we don't even know what the topic is yet. But my wife used to own a dancewear store. And as a joke, I actually got her a pair of underwear with her logo on it. She never wore them, but I thought it was pretty funny that you can actually go and do that. So that might be something that we do invest in. I think a line of our own PoddiMouths lingerie. Maybe not lingerie. I was thinking tighty whities too, but I was trying to find a fancier word, and lingerie just isn't it.
Lingerie, maybe like Spanx.
Ooh, Potty Spanx.
Hey, now we're talking.
With the charcoal insert in the bottom, just in case you feel like potty dusting.
Wow. All right, then. You've thought this through, apparently.
No, obviously not. But one other thing you'll find on the website is there's going to be a link to something that John and I are going to start doing. It's something we've always done, but we thought after the popularity of our travel episodes that we might actually start posting some of these on another Instagram account, along with our PoddiMouths Instagram account. We've started a new Instagram account called Eat Drink Road, and it's little tips and tricks and pictures and recommendations from our travels, and we'll probably bring in some other suggestions from some of our friends and family and coworkers as they travel as well, because we want to get all that information out to everyone. We want to share all that information because I think a lot of people are interested in different things that we experience and things that they might not have luxury of experiencing in their lives.
Okay, what's the name of the account again? Say it again.
It's Eat Drink Road, but it's Eat Drink Road, just like Eat Pray Love.
Very, very nice.
It's a play on that title, by the way.
It's what?
It's a play on the title Eat Pray Love.
I know, we all knew that.
Well, you knew that.
With the periods in there,
right? And that was my point.
Nice. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I totally went there.
No one else gets us except for our fans. That's all.
Maybe. I don't even know if that's true half the time.
You think they use this to fall asleep to or something?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
What do you do to fall asleep? I've been sleeping really well. I listen to PoddiMouths.
That's right. We're getting a lot more. I'm getting a lot more feedback from people and some of our friends that we have and some strangers who have actually found us and and really enjoy the back and forth that John and I have, and all the useless knowledge that I impart on people. And of course, the shit went downhill from there.
Of course, because that's how it does it. So,
that's right. Anyway,
since we're going to be, and we travel a lot, and we've already talked about that.
We have, and we do.
Since we're going to be posting things on Eat Period, Drink Period, Road. I'm not going to say the periods every time on Eat Drink Road. Then I think it would be a good opportunity for us to talk a little bit about foods, because you and I, loosely defined, we might be called foodies. You
loosely
definitely are, and I'm learning. But a lot of it is because
I don't know. You've taken me to some really impressive restaurants,
but they're usually like steakhouses, because I'm mostly myopic when it comes to that. I love a good steak, and
well, of course, you're from Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what it is. We have all these cattle around for a reason.
Yeah.
Don't be too nice to him. We're going to cut him up soon.
That's Bessie number 4. What happened to Bessie 1, 2, and 3? You're eating her.
There's a Jim Gaffigan bit where he's talking about 2 lobsters, you know, how they have them in a tank sometimes at restaurants, they're live. And they go, he said, oh, so anyway, I think someday they're probably going to take one of us out of here, right, Harvey? Harvey? Because Harvey's not. I'm trying to give Gaffigan any justice, but it was like that.
That was good. I like that a lot.
Harvey?
So yeah, anyway, let's talk about Harvey. Have you been any place recently that you have enjoyed or want to share, talk about?
Yes, of course, always. I had a great steak at a place in Atlanta called 101 Steak. 101 Steak, the number 101 Steak. And the service was spectacular. When we first got there, met some clients there, and had drinks at the bar, and then we moved on to the table, and the service did not go downhill at all. It was just amazing, and the food itself was also absolutely terrific, beyond reproach.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I spent some time in Atlanta. I lived there for a couple of years, and I actually worked in a restaurant that I would highly recommend the next time you're there. It's called La Grotta. La Grotta. LA space GROTTA. La Grotta Ristorante. And there are actually 2 locations. One is one's on Peachtree Street, and the other one is on Peachtree Street. Okay, you were slow on the uptake there. You got
thing,
that?
I know.
Anyway,
there are 12,000 Peachtree trees.
There are 12,000 peach trees, but there are actually 2. There's the original, and then there's another one that's in a hotel that's kind of for anyone that lives in Atlanta or has spent time there on the outside of the inner belt.
Oh, okay.
So La Grotta it's a fantastic Northern Italian restaurant, and the gentleman that owns it, or owns both of them, came from Italy and started these restaurants many, many, many years ago. I'm thinking maybe in the 80s, 70s or 80s, and they're still around, and it's phenomenal food. And they change it up every once in a while. But if you can actually, my favorite dish there was the orecchiette. It's the orecchiette pasta. It used to be an appetizer, then it became a full meal, and then they actually took it off the menu at one point. So I don't even know if it's still on there, but I bet you they would make it. And they have shrimp and scallops and a lemon cream sauce. Oh, it's phenomenal. So I would highly recommend that restaurant. And then there's another restaurant. It's more of a cafe. It's Intermezzo. And there's several locations, including one now that just opened here in Nashville. And the best part about Intermezzo is it's one of those shops where in the morning it's a coffee shop and you can get pastries. But then in the evening, you can go back and have cocktails and desserts. And they have one of the most phenomenal baked brie dishes you'll ever have. So those are my 2 recommendations. There's another Italian restaurant that's downtown Atlanta. Okay. I'm not sure if it's there anymore, so I'm not gonna bring it up. But those are the 2 that I know are still there and are absolutely worth trying. in Atlanta.
So forgive my ignorance. You said it's northern Italy at the first place.
Yep.
And so what differentiates northern Italian food versus southern Italian food?
That's a great question. And I'm going purely off of memory. So if anyone can update me or correct me, please do. And this is from 15, 16, 17 years ago. The way it was explained to me is Northern Italian is a lot. And when I say cleaner, I don't mean like it's been polished and they use Lysol or anything, but it's cleaner, crisper food that isn't quite as
heavy.
Exactly. Yeah. So there are a lot more vegetables, a lot more fresh veggies that are used. It's more white sauces than red sauces. And actually they use a lot more oils and butters than they do cream.
Huh. I was just going to say, so the northern Italy is white wine, southern Italy is red wine.
Yeah, it's kind of and that's a good way to think of it. Yeah, that's a good way to describe.
Interesting.
Yeah,
very cool. And so, are you primarily an Italian restaurant lover, or does that happen to be the case in Atlanta?
That just happens to be the case in Atlanta. I am not honestly aware of many really good Italian restaurants in Nashville. I know there's one near us called Bria, and I absolutely love Bria. They're a little heavier though, a lot of fried foods and things like that. But that's probably the best Italian restaurant. Mostly what we have here is pizza. But I am a pizza aficionado. How about you? What is actually besides steak, what's your favorite food? If you had the opportunity to go out and go to any restaurant, what would you seek out?
I'm a barbecue guy. That's always my sex. So apparently I'm one-dimensional on meat, but I bought a smoker.
Nice.
Home. And I tell you what, the thing I've enjoyed the most, pork shoulder is always awesome because you can do pulled pork and everything. But the thing I've enjoyed the most in there is beer can chicken inside the smoker. And it's absolutely incredible. Every bite, I don't know what it is about the chicken, but it seems to really take on the flavor of the smoke. And my gosh, it's just incredible. So when I'm on the road, I often seek out steakhouse, yes, and barbecue joint is the next thing I look for.
Very nice. Have you ever spent any time in some Alabama?
No, not very much in Alabama. Some, but not much.
Hold on.
You're looking for it.
I'm looking for it. So give me just a second. So why don't you talk while I look?
No, because people will know I'm dancing then. So anyway, while Nick's looking, let's talk about a word from our sponsor. Make sure
we don't have any sponsors yet.
Eat, drink, road when you get a chance. And there are periods after each of those words.
That's right.
See, I'm doing like a commercial. And people know I'm
good.
vamping.
And that's, I guess, because I was going to say we don't have any sponsors, but I guess our own thing can sponsor our own thing, huh?
Well, yeah, it's like taking money from one pocket and put it into the other one.
Right.
Which I'm a fan of.
Happens to me all the time. Dreamland Barbecue. Boom. Dreamland Barbecue.
Dreamland Barbecue. Where is that?
It's in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Now they're actually all over Alabama now, but the original was in Tuscaloosa. And it's not the oldest barbecue joint, but it is a very old, very historic barbecue joint. And if you actually walk into the original, it almost feels like the building is condemned. I mean, that's the kind of the feel it has. It's not in any way. I mean, I know they've done some updates to it and it's really neat, but it's very small. It's very dark. It smells like smoke, not cigarette smoke, but smoke from the meat.
Right.
And it is some of the most incredible barbecue I've ever had. And I didn't learn about it until early 2000, right after I moved away from Atlanta. I moved back to St. Louis, which St. Louis has really good barbecue too.
Agreed.
But I didn't learn about it until I was working for a company called Small Business Television, which was an online television company that did news and information for small businesses. So it was all online. It was pre-YouTube. So, but you can think of it as that for entrepreneurs and small businesses. One of the very first stories that we actually published was on Dreamland Barbecue. and the history of it, and all of the great things, and how it eventually started growing, even though it had been started many, many, many years ago before they actually started franchise. I don't know if they franchised it out or if they just grew it themselves. I don't remember that, but I had been introduced to it then, and then doing this job, probably again, 10, 15 years later, I had a store in Tuscaloosa that I was visiting, and they said, "Hey, let's go out to lunch." And they took me to the original Dreamland where we had where we had done the story from, and it was incredible. So that was my story.
That's
sticking to
awesome. Yeah, that's that would be. Now I have to go to Tuscaloosa.
I'll take you to Tuscaloosa. We'll go by the Mercedes plant on the way.
Great, because in my spare time, yep, I'm going to travel some more to Tuscaloosa.
I know you are. You're going to love it.
It sounds awesome.
It is pretty good. Anything else? What else? Any other things that you try on the road, or let's try this. Anything you would stay away from? Besides gas station food.
Well, let's talk gas station just for a second, because in Houston, there is a barbecue joint which shares a premises with a gas station. And it's one of the highest rated barbecue places on the south side of Houston. It is incredible. And the food.
But can you really go wrong with barbecue anywhere in Houston or anywhere in Texas for that matter?
Probably not, but it's just a weird location. It's not a nice neighborhood. And it's this gas station on the other side of the building. It's pretty funny. I can't remember the name, unfortunately, but if I think of it, we'll update and make a comment on the post. But yeah, it was amazing. It was really, we're getting barbecue at a gas station, and it was delicious.
It's kind of like sushi at a gas station. You just can't trust it, right?
Yeah, that's totally different. I'm much happier with smoked meat than I am with raw fish from a gas station. Much happier.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
But it's not just so. Yeah, I'm not a vegetarian by any stretch, but I have some of my favorite vegetables too.
Oh, what are those?
No, you start.
Oh, well.
So
we've talked about traveling and eating, and I think in one of our previous episodes we talked about the fact that I tried to be a vegetarian for a while.
Yes,
and it made me feel great, but being on the road is difficult. So I'm not answering your question directly. I'm going to answer it indirectly, but I was on my way home from a dealer visit yesterday, actually. And I have this place just north of Bowling Green that I stop. And it is, I'm trying to think of the name, Smith's Grove is the name of the town, Smith's Grove.
Okay.
And there's a Shell station, Shell gas station there that is actually connected to an IGA grocery store. It's a tiny grocery store, but it's an actual grocery store with meats and cheese, deli, and everything that you could possibly have there. So it doubles as, well, it triples actually. It's a grocery store, a Schlotzsky's, and the gas station. And you pay for everything at the same counter.
That's awesome.
And when I go there, the reason I go there is because it's one of very few places that I can actually go in and get, if I feel like a sandwich, I can get a sandwich, but I can also go in and buy fresh vegetables or fruit that I can take on the road with me, because they do chop it up and make it easier for you to eat. So you don't have to sit there and fight with it. So I'll get some broccoli, which I love broccoli.
Raw? Are you talking about raw broccoli?
I love cooked vegetables. I like raw vegetables. It doesn't matter to me. So I get broccoli, I get carrots, I'll get meats and cheeses, and my favorite cheese, you'll like this, and you cannot, I guess, work this out of me or beat this out of me even by making me move south. One of my favorite things, especially as I'm driving north in Kentucky and then into Ohio and Indiana, they start selling Wisconsin cheese curds.
Yes, they do.
I love me some cheese curds. That to me is a vegetable.
I was wondering how we got from veggies to cheese curds.
I was just thinking of me some cheese curds. Well, that's all.
So there is a festival in my hometown in southern Wisconsin once a year in the summer. And there is and they bring in, like carnival rides, and they have food tents and stuff like that. One of the food tents or buildings, if you will, is cheese curds. And that's all they serve. Cheese curds.
Oh. Are they fried or are they just regular cheese curds?
They are fried, and they are, I think the rumor is that they do it in pancake batter.
Oh,
and they
yummy.
Drop them in, and they are exquisite in the cheese curd world. My son agreed, long story, they have a quote unquote talent competition every year, mostly a talent show where people get together and play and sing and all that. And so we put the band together, and my son agreed to play drums if I bought him cheese curds.
Nice.
So I
think that's a fair deal.
Pounds soaking wet, loves him some cheese curds like you do. And he had, and these, I don't know how to describe it, but the things they serve them in, it's like it's kind of like a Dixie cup, one of those triangular cups. And they fill them and heap them over the top. There are probably 20 in each one. And so I bought him 2. After the first one, he goes, "Dad, I can't eat anymore."
Nice.
Because they just plant themselves in your stomach. And that's exactly what happened. So anyway, some of the finest cheese curds ever. But oh my goodness.
So I want to get back to the vegetable thing. But before we do, talk about a foodie's paradise when it comes to fried food, or any food for that matter. One of my very favorite things to do, and I am so excited when my daughter, because she does not have a choice in this. When my daughter becomes a foodie, I'm going to take her to the Minnesota State Fair.
Oh my gosh.
That is a food lover's paradise. And
and it's not just Minnesota. Wisconsin is the same way. No.
We're talking about Minnesota here. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Everything's frozen. All they have is frozen crap in Minnesota.
Yeah. You're right next door. You're much warmer, next door. Yeah. It's much warmer. Right. But the food there is incredible. And the reason I thought of that is because I do know you're absolutely right with the pancake batter, because they actually have corn dogs that they dip in pancake batter and fry at the Minnesota State Fair.
Absolutely delicious.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know.
You will gain so much weight in one sitting at the Minnesota State Fair than probably you would in the entire year. Just out of all the pure fried fat and butter that they have there.
Taffy and
taffy and funnel cakes. And,
gosh. And it's
milk.
They're getting even more ridiculous. And I can't speak for the Minnesota State Fair, but I would guess that they will deep fry anything. Like
Oreos, have you tried it?
And Twinkies and
butter, deep fried butter. Have you tried deep fried butter?
Oh my gosh. That's incredible.
It's insane.
I would eat the Oreos and Twinkies though in a heartbeat.
Oh, I have. They're phenomenal.
I haven't. Yeah.
Get on that, John. Minnesota State Fair. Let's go.
No,
we'll do a live episode of PoddiMouths. Yeah, that's small potatoes compared to Minnesota's.
Oh. What town is the Minnesota State Fair in?
St. Paul.
See, that's the problem.
Why is that the problem?
I have no idea. I just thought I'd bring them. Yeah, okay. Some guy yesterday, we were at a hotel, a restaurant, and sitting next to him at the bar. And the guy said, I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "Michigan." I said, "I'm sorry." He said, "Michigan." I said, No, I heard you. I'm just sorry.
I love it.
He was delighted.
So let's go back to vegetables. What's your favorite vegetable? Or vegetables?
Here's my little list. Beets. I love roasted beets.
Do you like how do you like your beets?
Roasted.
Okay. Do you like pickled?
I do. I like pickled as well.
Okay. Do you like regular pickled or sweet pickled?
I regular actually. I like them on Mediterranean salads.
Ooh, yes, nice.
Pickled beets, really yummy. But just to eat, there's a beet salad at a place near here toward Milwaukee. I can't think of the name right off the top of my head, but I might. And it is, they have a wonderful beet salad, and it's roasted golden beets. Oh my gosh. It's just
making me hungry.
Yeah, well, that's good. But that's beets, and a lot of people don't like them. I think when they're prepared well, that they're much nicer to eat and delicious.
Yeah.
Like you, I'm steamed broccoli. I prefer steamed to raw. Do not like broccolini. Have you had that?
I do. I love broccolini.
It's like cheap broccoli. It's like you couldn't afford the real thing. So let's go with these little.
But they market it as the rich man's broccoli.
They are. It's terrible. It's like stringy sometimes. And again, I'm sure it has to do with preparation, but it's like
I like broccolini in Asian
rather
food.
than big ones. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I like broccolini in Asian food.
Okay. All right. As long as it's done properly, I guess.
Right.
If it's buried by something else. Artichoke, roasted artichokes. Love.
Artichokes?
Yes. Love
okay.
Peeling them right off the head after it's been roasted. Just delicious if it's done right. And edamame. I'm a big edamame fan.
See, I have a tough time with edamame.
I
don't know why. Yeah, I love beans. I love peas. I love all different things, but for some reason I have not found. And I think it's a texture thing too. Just like you with the broccolini.
Yeah,
I guess I can't get past the texture.
Well, it's not really a texture. I guess it could be, but I mean, do you like mushrooms?
I do. I love mushrooms.
A lot of people who don't have texture issues don't like mushrooms. I notice. And
interesting.
So yeah, I find that interesting as well. But edamame, okay, well then I won't order. If they were pre-peeled and pulled out of the pods, would you be more likely? I think I'd
like them. Yeah, I do like them then. I think it's just when I eat the pods or try to eat the pods, because you're not supposed to eat the pods, right?
You just squeeze the edamame out of there.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. All right.
So, well, along the same line. So one thing that I love the flavor of, but I will not eat unless it's like almost liquid form, is coconut.
I love the flavor of, but I won't eat. How about like shredded coconut, the sweetened?
No. If it's shredded, I don't want anything to do with it. It's the texture of the actual shredded kernels on my teeth. I can't stand it.
Oh, interesting.
Can't stand it. But I love coconut water. I love coconut milk.
You would be screwed on a deserted island.
Yeah, pretty much. I just drink all the fluids and.
Have you ever had the coconut water right out of a coconut?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
Oh, and you love that. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
And I love the flavor. I love pina coladas.
Yeah.
And getting caught in the rain.
Really? Can I tell you, I have the best pina colada recipe.
Do you really?
And it's simple, but it is far and away the best ever. And so here it is. I'm going to give it to you.
We're waiting. Now. Okay, good.
It is, well, plenty of rum. You have to use plenty of rum. But I use a pitcher or, a blender and fill it with ice about a third of the way up, not quite, with rum. And then half a can of Coco Lopez. And that's, if you don't know what that is, it's a coconut. Oh, gosh. Well,
cream.
It is a cream. Good. That's very well said. And oh, my gosh, it is sweet and naughty, and yes, but we're talking about a good one, not a low calorie one. And then a half can of crushed pineapple.
Oh, it's not even the juice, just the pineapple?
Just the pineapple and blended.
Nice.
And good golly, is that awesome.
So I'm about to go on vacation in a week, and I'm going to the beach, and I think that's going to be first on my list of things to drink. I don't think they'll make it that well, but now you're making me crave pina coladas.
Now you need to simply go to a Target or a Walmart and buy a blender and then do yourself a favor and make them yourself.
Oh, we're staying at a house. They have a blender.
Oh, good. Perfect. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Then get some ice and get some Coco Lopez. And Coco Lopez is one of those things where you can usually find it, but they often only have a couple of cans. So,
you're right. Yep. So they have it at my Kroger. For those of you, that's the same as Schnucks or Rainbow Foods or name other grocery store chains.
It's not Kroger. It's K. Roger. Come on.
K. Roger. I like that. I'm going to use that from now on.
I'm going over to K. Roger.
Well, you're saying Cocos. That it's interesting you say that. I'm going to the beach in about a week, a little over a week now.
I'm jealous.
And we stay in a house. We do this every year, and we stay in a house. And this year, we're staying on the same block as we've always stayed in, because we always stayed in this very specific house. We rented it, or my wife's uncle rents it. So this year we're actually moving to a house that's at the end of this block, but it's the same road, same block. And this house is right next door to the beach bar titled Coco's.
Huh.
Yep. You can't walk over to it from the house. You actually have to go out to the beach and then back in, because they have a big fence there, but it's right next door.
That's very cool. Does it get loud, though? That's the question I would have.
No, because they close at 6 or 7 in the afternoon.
Genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, it is. It's a great place. Anyway, as I often do, I digress.
No, that's well worthy. Okay, so we talked about Coco Lopez, which is incredibly sweet. Let's talk about your favorite dessert items.
Ooh, I like a good cannoli.
Yeah, I like cannoli too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like a lot of things, but we were talking about festivals and things like that. And there's a festival here just outside of Nashville in Centerville, Tennessee, called the Banana Pudding Festival. They have it every year.
Do I have a story about that? Keep going.
Well, that's pretty much it. They have it every year, and it's a contest, and you see who has the best banana pudding, and it is so much fun. And it's a tiny little town just outside of Nashville. Where it is? So Centerville.
Yeah, okay.
Centerville.
Got it.
You got to say it like a Tennessean. Centerville.
Awesome. That
I get in trouble because I grew up calling Louisville. Louisville,
yes, I understand.
But my wife corrected me. It's Louisville.
Well, and it's also Neworleans. How do you say that?
Say it one more time.
New.
I mean, I'm in the South. That was a little fast for me.
New, capital Orleans. How do you say it?
Well, do you want my way of saying it, or do you want?
I know the right way. Do you know your way?
The right. My way is Nolans.
Oh, okay. Well, that's certainly acceptable there.
Yeah, but where I grew up, it was New Orleans.
Yes, and that's totally incorrect.
Yeah.
They don't like that at all. But in New Orleans, which is what I say, that is fine. That's perfectly acceptable. New Orleans or Nolans, that's absolutely fine.
Nolans.
What we'll tell them, though, if you've done your homework, is if you say Metairie, which is where the airport used to be. I'm not sure if it's still there or not. I haven't been for quite some time. But Metairie,
I haven't been since before the storm.
What's that?
I haven't been since before the storm.
I haven't either. And that is something I would like to do. It's one of the places I would like to go.
Me too. We'll do a live episode there, too.
That would be a great idea.
Or we shouldn't say live. When I say live, I mean on location.
Yes, but we'll be alive when we do it.
Well, we'll be alive, sure. Well, speaking of New Orleans, have you ever gone to the famous oyster place? It's on, I can't think of the name of it.
On Canal?
It's Broadway. Is it the Broadway Oyster House? No, that's the one in St. Louis.
I don't know.
Oh, man. It's been on TV. It's famous. I've been there several times. I love it. You just walk up to the bar, and all they have behind the bar is chests of ice with raw oysters, and you can order a single one at a time, and you just keep ordering them until you're sick of eating them, and they give you a nice big cold beer. And this is a big stone bar, and you just sit there and eat oysters with crackers and Tabasco sauce and a little bit of horseradish.
I am a big oyster fan.
Oh, me too. I made myself sick the last time I was there because I ate so many.
Well, that kind of supersedes the purpose, doesn't it?
It does, but it was worth it. I enjoyed every single moment of it.
So, and just as a quick aside, back to the Metairie, it's spelled Metairie, and a lot of people, especially Northerners, will try to do Metairie or something like that.
We screw everything
up.
Well,
no, I mean, how would you know to say it right? It's no different. In Wisconsin, we have a town outside of Milwaukee, and it's not called New Berlin, it's called New Berlin, and you have to say it like that. And so if you don't, then you obviously are not a regular. Or one of the towns outside of also a suburb of Milwaukee is Oconomowoc. Oconomowc, Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. And people will murder that all day long, as they should, if you're not familiar
Absolutely.
with it. So,
and so you might be able to get this one because you've traveled a lot and you're actually from this area, but how would you say Wayzata?
oh, well, that's Wayzata or Wayzata.
Wayzata, right.
Yeah, that's and I've traveled there, so I know that it's right off Highway 12.
Yep. Good job. You even got the highway right, because most people would think they wouldn't even give you Highway 12. So,
yes, I've traveled up there.
It's the same thing. There are a lot of names. I understand that completely. There are a lot of names in different places that everyone's going to screw up because they're not around.
I'm looking at some of the oyster places because now you've got me thinking about when we go to New Orleans.
This one's the most famous. You have to,
or Acme, or
Acme Oyster Bar. No, Acme Oyster.
Okay, and that's where does that say it is? Acme Oyster
should
House.
Be right. It should be in the French Quarter.
Iberville Street, it says. New Orleans, and it does look like it's in the French Quarter. Yeah.
Okay.
So interesting. Yeah. So that would be fun.
And there's there's a lot of great restaurants, but again, I haven't been there, so I think most of them still exist. There's a bar in New Orleans, and
Cooter Brown's Tavern.
No,
I just made it up. I saw it here on Google.
No, this one is, I think it's more popular now, but it used to be. So when I went down there, I went with the SBTV people, and one of our hosts actually went to college in Louisiana. So he was very familiar with everything French Quarter. And he brought us to this bar that didn't open until midnight.
Uh-huh.
And it was a door. It had a sign above it, very innocuous. You go into the door and you walk down a really narrow alleyway to get back to the bar.
Huh.
And then you go into the bar. Everything is painted black. And it's very, very dark, very cozy. It was really, really neat. I don't remember the food or the drinks or anything, but I do remember trying to go to the bathroom because the bathrooms were in the quote unquote library. And you had to try to figure out which book to pull to open the door to get into the bathroom.
I'm thinking of my son dancing because he has to go so bad. Trying to find the right book.
Yep.
My son, not dancing today, but many, many years ago when he was a kid. I just want to make that clear. I don't think he does that anymore.
You never know. I mean, I still do.
Yes, you do. And it entertains me.
As it should.
The pee-pee dance.
Yep.
That's awesome. What else? What else is on your awesome list of when you said what did you say for your dessert?
I said cannoli. But I also I can always do a good tiramisu.
I just wrote that down.
Did you? Yeah.
Because I confused one time. I confused tiramisu with creme brulee. And creme brulee, you know how they serve it. It's usually in a small flat dish. And it's delicious. It's wonderful. It's that custard and they torch it on the top to melt the sugar. Oh gosh, it's very good. But I was assuming, we went to this Italian place and I was assuming that tiramisu was creme brulee. And I said, we need a lot because I'm there with another couple and he's a big guy and I'm a big guy. So we better order 2 or 3 tiramisu. Well, it came out and they're as big as our head. So there are 3 or 4 of us there, 4 or 5 of us there eating, and and we could scarcely finish one of them. It was so big.
Oh, wow.
But delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely delicious. What a happy accident.
Yeah. There's sometimes in my life, I go to restaurants and I'm like, I don't really want to eat anything else on the menu but the dessert. Just give me a whole bunch of dessert. I'm sure there are enough calories to sustain my life. I'm sure
Have you
people.
done that?
I've never done that. No, I always
no,
feel
I'm not
weird
talking about people. I'm talking about you.
No, yeah, I'm saying that I've never done that. I wish I would, but I'm not ballsy enough to do that.
What I like that we do, and you've been with me sometimes on a work restaurant thing, and I don't know if you've were along when our client has done this, but she will often order all the desserts.
Yep.
And then everybody grabs a spoon and we share them. And I really enjoy that. I mean, you got to be kind of tight with the people. Because,
yes, you do. But I'm the same way with all food. When I go eat with people,
Yep.
I am more than willing to share everything on my plate because I want them to experience it. That's the whole foodie concept to me is let's enjoy the food. Everyone get what they want, but let's try everything else. So we all kind of have that experience. I love that.
If I'm going to do that, I'm going to make sure I order something really crappy on my plate that other people, just because I want to see their faces.
Or something really, really weird. Like
terrible. I know. I'm kind of glad I passed it.
Well, speaking of our client, and I hope she's listening because I do know she's a fan. There's a restaurant in Seattle. I'm sure you've been there, John, many, many times, but she actually introduced it to me after Dennis actually had talked about it. And she and I went there and basically did the same thing with ordering all the desserts. It's called the 6-7 restaurant, and it's located in the Edgewater Hotel.
Oh, I know the Edgewater. I have not been to that restaurant.
Well, Edgewater is very, very famous, but this restaurant is phenomenal. And it's the Edgewater. If you're not familiar with the Edgewater, I would highly recommend everyone looking it up. It's a hotel on a pier. It's been around forever. A lot of rock stars. There's a lot of rock star stories. I'd look those up too. That's kind of weird. But if you're easily grossed out, don't. But anyway, it's a very famous hotel. It's beautiful, beautiful. And then this restaurant inside of it looks out over the bay, and the sunsets are insanely gorgeous, and the food is incredible.
That whole area is beautiful.
So that's another recommendation, and the desserts are to die for.
I'll have to check. Now I have stayed, and that's Alaskan Way is the road that is just off, and I've often stayed at the Marriott there. You and I have had Marriott conversations before.
Yes,
and that's just down the street a ways, but both are exceptional if you ask me. But the Edgewater is much more famous.
A lot of fun. And so there is also, I was going somewhere with that. Now I've completely lost my train of thought. Good job, John.
That's okay.
You made me lose my train of thought.
Well, it's
thinking Marriott and Edgewater.
You know what's awesome, though, is that every time we have a listener now, they think, Nick, he often loses track of where he's going. And
because I'm so excited about the next thing I'm going to talk about.
They don't know that it's me throwing you off.
Oh, well, then I won't admit to that anymore. There is a phenomenal restaurant. It used to be a phenomenal restaurant. I just found it again. So there's a restaurant. It used to be on Venice Beach in Los Angeles called Killer Shrimp. They literally had 3 things on their menu: the original with pasta, and the original over rice. And what the original is, they would give you 6 or 7, maybe even 12 shrimp, large shrimp, peel and eat shrimp.
Like prawns?
Like a little, I guess maybe a little smaller.
Okay.
They put it in a bowl and cover it with this Cajun soup, this sauce, liquid basically. They bring it out, and they usually, the way it did when I was there, they brought it out in a metal bowl, put the bowl in front of you, and then they gave you a colander full of sliced French bread. You just sit there and dip the French bread until you get down to the shrimp, and then you peel and eat the shrimp. So good.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it was incredible. But they closed that restaurant, and it was closed for many, many years. And I would always look it up. Every time I'd go out to LA, I'd look it up again to see if someone would have something similar. But I just saw that they reopened it. It's in a different location. It's not on Venice Beach anymore. It's somewhere else. But next time I go out there, I am hitting that place up, and I'm hoping the menu looks exactly the same. So I'm hoping it's going to be the same, and I'm hoping it's not a hoax.
Yeah, a knockoff.
But
tell me again what the name is.
It's called Killer Shrimp.
Killer Shrimp. Got it.
Yep.
Very cool.
It's very easy to remember.
I thought you were going to say they had 3 things on the menu: shrimp, strychnine, and something else. I don't know.
Any other good restaurants you've come up with, or you have?
I'm kind of a so when you travel a lot, and you and I have talked about this too, that I'm staying now at Town Place Suites quite often, and it's a kind of a lower end. I shouldn't say that. It's on par with like a Marriott Courtyard. It's also a Marriott property, but it has a like an efficiency kitchen in it. And so often when I go into a town now, I will go to a grocery store rather than a restaurant and buy food that I can eat during the week. Now, not for all meals necessarily, but I'll often grab some eggs and grab some like a broaster chicken or something like that will keep me unlikely to go down and get apple pie things down at the
so
restaurant.
hard, so challenging.
Gosh. So anyway,
I got caught just on that same subject twice this week. I went down and got ice cream because I at the Fairfields they have those little bitty containers of Haagen-Dazs ice cream. And
yes, they're really good.
that Haagen-Dazs, I can't say no to it. I just can't.
Yeah, it's pretty naughty. It really is.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had.
Go on.
I've never
I'm sorry.
gotten the little ones.
I have been able to refrain from getting the big ones. They've always been the little ones.
Well, they're not big. They're a pint, right? The big ones.
And the little ones, when I say little, it's probably 3 spoonfuls.
Yeah, they're kind of a thimble sort of a thing. Yep. It's really not worth going downstairs just to get one of those. You might as well go with the bigger one.
No, it really is. It's because it's Haagen-Dazs.
No, it doesn't. No, you want more.
No, it's Haagen-Dazs.
You know you want more.
John, it's Haagen-Dazs. And they're not a sponsor.
No, not yet. They should be.
Not yet. They should be because I talk about them now on all this episode.
Yeah, and you're making people hungry, frankly.
Yeah. Well, no, you're making people hungry. Remember?
Oh, that's right. That's what we're trying to do.
I accused you of it first. So go on. I'm sorry. Finish your story.
No,
I've got some more restaurants to add.
There are several that I enjoy going to, but it's often with our clients. And may I say that I love our clients. So especially the one you were talking about. She's awesome.
And we are talking very nicely about her because she is listening.
Well, yeah, but we still love her, even if she didn't listen. So
of course we do. Yeah.
When we go out with clients, we're more likely to go to a nice restaurant or whatever. And I've just been to so many, but probably one of the most fun ones was a barbecue restaurant like we were talking about earlier by DFW Airport, Dallas. And that is Hard 8 Barbecue. It is, oh my gosh, unbelievable. And
Hard 8 or Hard 8?
The number 8.
Hard 8. Okay.
Yeah. And it's not far, really 20 minutes, if that, from DFW Airport.
Nice.
And it's one of those places where, because it's Texas, but they do the cooking outside or the smoking outside. And as you approach the door to go in, that's where they have all the meat. And so the smells are just incredible. And then you go up, and that's where you place the order before you even walk in the door. And I don't know, a half a pound of sausage, smoked sausage, and half a pound of chicken and half a pound of something else. And they say, okay. And they weigh it in front of you. And it's amazing. They get to within, 1/10 of a pound.
Wow.
That's how good they are. And then they just pass your tray along inside, and you load up other stuff once you go through the line. It's like a cafeteria style where you just keep loading stuff on, and then, grab a beer, grab a soda or whatever, and sit down and eat. And it's not inexpensive, but incredible food, and one of my favorite places to go with clients.
I'll have to try that sometime. I don't foresee myself ever going back to Dallas, but you never know.
As soon as you think you're not going to, you'll be there next week.
Very true. Very true. Well, since we're talking about barbecue, there are 2 restaurants very near Nashville that I have to promote, not just because both the owners of both are actually friends of ours, but also because they're very, very good. There's a barbecue restaurant in Dixon, Tennessee called Back Alley Barbecue. And that place is phenomenal. And it's right downtown Dixon, and you can smell it a mile away.
That's the brilliant part.
Really cute joint that I highly recommend if you ever want to make your way out to Dixon. Dixon's a cute little community. blink and you miss it type of place, but it's
How
got
far
a nice
from Nashville?
It's about 35 miles.
Okay.
It takes you about 45 minutes to get to the downtown.
Okay.
But it's a cute downtown. It's got coffee shops. It's got bookstores. It has a great spa.
Cool.
Anyway, we used to live there. And the other restaurant that I want to highly recommend, it's more of a high-end restaurant. It's not a barbecue joint. It's American cuisine, but it's high-end fine dining. They're very good friends of ours. It's called Lugo's, and it is also downtown Dixon. Fantastic restaurant. Fantastic cannoli.
Oh, there you go. You had me a cannoli.
Yeah, cannoli, and also he has a to die for tiramisu as well.
Oh, great.
Victor is the owner and the chef. So, but that's Dixon, Tennessee. I can't even list the number of really good restaurants in Nashville right now. Just come to Nashville and eat at all the restaurants. You'll be happy. You won't find a bad restaurant. Really,
that's most major cities if you know where to look, and that's frankly where, for those of us who travel a lot, Google is such a godsend just because it's so easy for us to find good places with great reviews and all of that. It just
absolutely. And tell you what, another good tool I use, because sometimes I get really, really lazy or I don't want to. And I know we've talked about how much I like to explore different cities, but sometimes I don't want to, or I don't have time to, because I'm doing either my day job and then my day job at night and then my night job. I don't want to leave my hotel room. So Uber Eats and Grubhub, because you can get a lot of these really nice restaurants delivered.
Yeah, it's a good thought.
Yep. They are awesome. So what about pizza? Are you a pizza fan?
Yes. I love pizza.
I love me some pizza too. Some of your favorite pizza joints?
Oh gosh, mine are mostly mainstream. Just because I'm comfortable with them. I like the ones that make it easy. So I'm going to tell you, I like Papa John's because I have an account with it. I know if you are a connoisseur, you're going to hate Papa John's, but it's fine. And it's easy, and they deliver it, and they've got a list of all my previous orders, and you can watch it being made, essentially, virtually, at least online. And so anyway, it's easy. Yeah, it's not awesome pizza. My favorite.
Yeah, I just think the sauce is too sweet.
Well, yeah, but I kind of lean towards sweet sauce when it comes to pizza. Oh gosh, my favorite is it's hard to say. There are so many really good ones these days. It's a long story, the relationship, but my nephew-in-law sort of is a pizzola. I'm not sure how you'd say it. He's a pizza chef, and he is incredible. So anytime I say Papa John's, I'm talking about a different category. This guy is one of the finest pizza chefs I've ever known, and he does some incredible stuff. Chris, he is just amazing, and so it's fun to challenge him, and he'll do some stuff that's just amazing. So anyway, that's probably my favorite.
Awesome.
I would have to say.
All right. Well, mine is actually location based. So if you're here in Nashville and you're looking for good pizza, there's a little place outside of Nashville on the west side, not all the way to Dixon. There is actually a really good pizza place in Dixon too, but this place just blows them out of the water. It's called Sky King. They open at 5 and they close, I think, at 9. So they're only open, and I don't even think they're open on Mondays. Their pizza is phenomenal. This place is full every single night. It's hard. If you don't get there soon enough, you are going to be waiting 20, 30, 40 minutes to get a seat. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Well, and one like that on that same style, and it's more of a mass appeal pizza, is a place called Marion's in Dayton, Ohio. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Just amazing pizza. And just a friend who had grown up going there took a whole bunch of us over on a business trip, and we drove, 30 miles to get there, and it was worth every mile. It was so good. Okay, so as isn't pizza always
No, I got a couple more pizza places. Just bear with me because pizza is like my world.
These better be pizza places that are going to sponsor us.
Oh, and I doubt it. Not this place especially. There is my favorite pizza in the city of St. Louis. And they have 2 locations. They've had 2 locations. I don't remember the name of the second one because I do. It's the second one is called Lemons.
Oh.
But the first place is called The Black Thorn.
Okay.
You go into this place and it's in the middle of a neighborhood. It's in the Grand. It's off of Grand in St. Louis. People in St. Louis will know what I'm talking about. The Black Thorn. It's below an apartment building. You wouldn't see it if you were walking up to it because it's down a hill. And you go into this bar, and it's the ceiling's low enough where you can push pin dollars up in the ceiling, and a lot of people have. Cool. You go in, you order your pizza at the bar, and it takes 45 minutes for that pizza to get done. So you're sitting there and drink, and sometimes I wonder if it's just because you drank so much before you ate it that it was just the best thing in the world. But I've had it sober, and I think it's just as good. But the pizza is huge. It's thick. It's one of the most phenomenal pizzas you'll ever eat. The Black Thorn bar and restaurant in St. Louis, right down the street from Pho Grand, which is another one of my other favorites. I love pho or pho. It's actually called pho.
Oh, but yeah, it is pho.
Yep. That's all I got because you were trying to wrap up, and I appreciate that.
But I want to wrap up in a good way with pie.
Ooh, pie.
What's your Ooh, pie. What's your
I'll tell you what the one I will not eat, because people think I'm nuts and they'll probably stop listening after I tell people this.
Oh, well then why would you say it?
Because I want everyone to know that I am an American. I love America, but I do not like apple pie.
So what is it about apple pie that you don't like?
The texture. The texture of cooked apples. I will not eat cooked apples.
So why don't you just eat the raw, make an apple pie with raw apples on it?
I have done that, and I will eat that.
Yuck.
Because I love cinnamon. I love sugar.
You can't do apple crisp either.
Nope.
Oh,
anything that has cooked apples in it, with the exception of applesauce. Applesauce I'll eat, but it's not texture because it's all ground down. It's purely it's not a taste thing. It's a texture thing.
I think it's a weirdness thing.
Well, I told you at the beginning of this, everything about me is weird.
Someday I'm going to force you to eat my wife's homemade apple pie from scratch.
And I'm sure I'll love it. I'll just hate the texture as it's going down. Most things, when I say I don't like, and most things when I say I hate, it's not that I don't eat it. I still eat coconut. I just hate it because I don't like the texture. I love the taste. I don't like the texture.
Because what? There's nothing else to eat?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, how about rhubarb? Rhubarb pie?
I love rhubarb. Rhubarb pie.
Oh. How about the texture?
Doesn't bother me.
Okay.
It's just apple pie.
Celery pie.
Cooked apples. I don't like celery in general, but it doesn't bother me cooked.
Okay, I wouldn't think of it in a pie anyway. Key lime pie.
Love key lime pie.
So I'm a key lime cheesecake fan. Have you ever had that?
Well, okay. Which kind of cheesecake, though?
What do you mean, which kind?
Well, because there's the New York style, and then there's... I don't even know what the other styles it's called, but there's 2 different styles. There's there's the cheesecake that when you cut it, it's kind of dry. And then there's the stuff that's almost like a key lime pie where it's creamy.
Yeah. I'm more of the creamy.
Really? And I'm more of the dry.
So it might be the cross between the key lime pie and a key lime cheesecake. And that's what does it. I think it firms up a key lime pie sort of.
Yeah. I love key lime pies. I love lemon pies.
Okay, that's what we're going to have next time we're out.
Okay.
Key lime pie and maybe oysters till we puke, and then we'll have room for the key lime pie.
Well, if we're mixing key lime pie with oysters, we probably will puke.
And that is where we ended for today. That was pretty good.
That was good.
I feel full now, though. I don't think I'm going to be able to eat for a while.
No, I'm going to go down and eat right now. I'm starving.
Go get some Haagen-Dazs. Get one of the big ones, though.
We actually have Haagen-Dazs in the freezer, and it's the dairy-free, sugar-free kind.
Oh, well.
And it's still really good.
Okay.
So anyway, we should leave our listeners on that note.
Yeah. Tell them where they can find all our crap, though.
All of our crap or all of our really good food recommendations?
Our crap.
Okay. Well, I'll start with the crap. You can go to PoddiMouths on Instagram. Find us there. You can go to the same on Facebook, and on Twitter it's Mouths Poddy, at Mouths Poddy rather. And then, of course, you can, if you want to sponsor us and help us travel a bit more and give you more recommendations, you can always find us on Patreon and pledge your support there. And of course, if you really do want to learn a little bit more, see what we're eating, see what we're seeing, see what we're visiting, remember to go to Eat Drink Road, which is eat.drink.road on Instagram. Period.
Road.
End sentence.
You see, you do that way better than I ever could. You're very patient and calm as you're doing it.
Oh, I'm sure I'm leaving something out, though. Oh, and don't forget to visit our website. I mean, we do have a website up there right now. It's not really going to lead you anywhere. You can listen to our episodes, and I think you can actually send us an email. But our new website should be going up pretty soon. I'm hoping within the next week or two.
And can I just tell you, insiders, that as an insider myself, I have seen the preview and it looks awesome.
Thanks, John.
Way to go, Nick. I'm proud of you.
Have a good one, everybody.
See ya.